In the mornings, they chalk it up to stress, fatigue, or just getting older. But what if your body's been whispering a message for years? What if that slowness in your lower body is actually your blood flow weakening, not just in your hands and feet, but in the places that matter most for your confidence, your masculinity, your identity? There's no dramatic collapse, no sharp pain, just the slow fading of power. And it doesn't happen overnight. It happens in the small moments, when climbing stairs feels more tiring than it should, when your legs feel colder than the rest of your body, when a spark inside you feels like it's dimming without reason. Here's the uncomfortable truth: circulation issues down there don't always start with the heart, they often begin with the morning, with what you do or don't do in the first hour of your day. While most people think of blood flow as a general issue, for men over 60, poor circulation targets specific areas, and the consequences go far beyond what you see in the mirror. Every artery and vessel is a highway. If one road is blocked, the entire system slows. And unfortunately, the first signs appear in the areas with the smallest, most delicate blood vessels, the ones responsible for sensitivity, performance, and function. So when blood doesn't get there, nothing else does. The most alarming part: many of the foods you eat in the morning, the ones you believe are safe or even healthy, could be thickening your blood, stiffening your vessels, and quietly shutting down the circulation that brings life to your lower body. You don't need a dramatic event to know something's wrong. Sometimes all it takes is silence. A part of your body that doesn't respond like it used to. A feeling that used to be instant, now delayed or absent. And when you ignore that silence long enough, it becomes the new normal, but it doesn't have to be. Because the same body that sends warnings also holds the solution. And that begins with a simple change in the morning, one that has nothing to do with age and everything to do with blood flow. But before we continue with the video, leave a comment telling us where you're watching from and what time it is. There, and share your story, because I, or maybe someone else, might be able to help you with your pain. Your heart pumps over 100,000 times a day, tirelessly sending blood through nearly 60,000 miles of arteries, veins, and capillaries. That's enough to circle the earth more than twice. But here's what no one tells you: after 60, your body doesn't deliver blood equally. It begins to prioritize survival over sensation, keeping the brain and core organs alive, while gradually reducing flow to the outer areas, including the one area that most men hesitate to talk about. You may notice cold hands, tired legs, or a loss of grip strength. But what's happening beneath the surface is more subtle, more personal, and much harder to admit. Blood flow to your lower region, especially in men, declines up to 40% after the age of 60, and yet most doctors won't mention it unless you bring it up first. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. It's just age. It's something we're expected to accept. But your body isn't broken. It's just being blocked. Your arteries, especially the smallest ones responsible for circulation in sensitive areas, are highly reactive to what you eat. In the first 90 minutes after breakfast, your blood vessels either expand or constrict, depending entirely on what you put into your system. A high sugar breakfast, your vessels constrict. A heavy carb load, inflammation spikes and blood flow slows. Even healthy grains like whole wheat toast or oatmeal, if not paired correctly, can blunt nitric oxide production, the key compound that tells your blood vessels to open wide and deliver oxygen-rich blood where it's needed. Now imagine this happening every morning. Day after day, your body wakes up hoping for fuel, and instead receives something that blocks the very thing it needs to function: oxygen. Without proper oxygen delivery, tissues starve, muscles weaken, and in time, nerve signals become delayed, causing decreased sensation, slower response, and even complete shutdown in extreme cases. And it doesn't stop there. Circulation is about more than getting blood there. It's about how fast and how freely that blood can move. And that movement relies on two things: elasticity of the blood vessels and cleanliness of the arteries. As you age, both begin to decline unless you actively fight back. One of the greatest threats to blood vessel health is something you've probably consumed every morning for years: seed oils. Found in margarine, packaged breads, breakfast cereals, and even granola bars, these oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which trigger inflammation in the endothelial lining of your arteries. This inflammation causes tiny cracks, microscopic wounds that the body tries to heal by forming plaques. Over time, this narrows the passageways, stiffens the arteries, and reduces the ability of blood to reach your most vital areas. Now add in stress, lack of movement, and a drop in testosterone testosterone all common after 60, and you've got the perfect storm for functional decline where you least want it, but it doesn't have to be that way. Your body still responds to the right signals. It still produces nitric oxide. It still wants to circulate, regenerate, and respond like it used to. What it needs is a new morning trigger, something that opens the gates instead of slamming them shut, something that tells your arteries it's time to move again. That's why, in just a moment, we'll look at a natural compound that does exactly that, one that scientists have studied for its ability to increase blood flow, restore endothelial health, and reignite the confidence and vitality most men thought were gone forever. There's a compound your body was once overflowing with, one that kept your blood moving freely, your muscles responsive, and your confidence unshaken. But after 60, your levels drop dramatically, not because you did anything wrong, but because your body gradually stops producing it. This compound is L-arginine, and it plays a direct role in the creation of nitric oxide, the molecule that tells your blood vessels to relax and widen. When blood vessels open, circulation improves, oxygen reaches your brain faster, nutrients flood into your muscles, and most importantly, blood flows smoothly into the areas that determine your strength, drive, and intimacy. For decades, L-arginine has been the quiet weapon used by cardiologists, geriatric doctors, and even Olympic athletes to enhance performance not just physically, but biologically. And now, researchers are calling it one of the most promising tools to combat age-related vascular decline. But here's the catch: your body needs help to absorb it efficiently after 60. And that's where vitamin B3, specifically its active form niacin, comes into play. When taken together in the morning, L-arginine and niacin form a powerful duo that supercharges nitric oxide production and dilates blood vessels throughout the body, especially in regions with high nerve concentration and demand for oxygen. Imagine waking up, taking a small, tasteless capsule with a glass of water, and feeling warmth return to your legs, your hands, and even parts of you that had started to feel disconnected. This isn't fantasy, it's blood flow, and it can be triggered naturally with the right nutrient at the right time. Studies published in journals like the American Journal of Hypertension have shown that just 3 grams of L-arginine per day, combined with niacin, led to measurable improvements in circulation and function in men over 60. These aren't miracle pills. They're biochemical keys unlocking blood flow that's been trapped by stiff arteries and silent inflammation for years. And it's not just about what's happening below the waist. Improved circulation helps regulate blood pressure, reduce heart strain, and even sharpen mental clarity. When your blood moves freely, so do your thoughts. Your muscles respond faster, your balance improves, your skin looks healthier, and that heaviness you've been carrying in your chest, legs, or conscience, it starts to lift because oxygen is reaching the places where life begins again. Still, there's a crucial rule: timing matters. The best moment to take this vitamin combo is within 30 minutes of waking up, before food. That's when your body's in a fasted state, your insulin is low, and your absorption is at its peak. Taken consistently each morning, this small habit begins to accumulate power, not in sudden jolts, but in steady renewal. You begin to notice small changes. Standing up feels easier. Your hands stop trembling. A warm sensation returns to places you had almost forgotten. Your energy in the evening feels more natural. And yes, that spark that seemed long gone, it comes back slowly but surely. Because it was never about age, it was about circulation, and the bloodstream is like a river. When it flows, everything downstream comes to life again. So you've started taking the right vitamin. You're doing what science and experience have proven to work, but somehow the results aren't there. Nothing's changing. You still feel cold in the legs, the energy's flat, and that confidence below the waist. No different. This is where most people give up. They assume it's just age, that maybe it works for others but not for them. But here's what no one tells you: the problem isn't the vitamin, it's the way you're taking it. There are 3 mistakes that silently cancel out everything this circulation boosting formula is designed to do. And nearly everyone over 60 makes at least one of them. The first, it starts with breakfast. After 60, your body's blood vessels are more reactive than ever. That means they respond to everything, especially sugar and processed fats. When you take L-arginine or niacin and then follow it with toast, margarine, orange juice, or even cereal, You're killing the effect before it begins. These foods spike insulin and trigger inflammation, which tightens your arteries rather than opening them. It's like trying to drive with the brakes halfway pressed. You think you're moving, but you're actually working against yourself. The second mistake is more subtle but just as destructive: inconsistency. Your blood vessels thrive on rhythm. They respond best when they receive the same message at the same time every single day. When you take the vitamin one morning at a.m., the next at 10, then skip a day altogether, your body never builds momentum. It never gets the pattern it needs to function at full capacity. You can't expect a stable result with unstable timing. Circulation is a rhythm. Either you set the beat or your body falls out of tune. Then comes the third mistake, the one that happens without you even noticing: nutrient absorption failure. As you age, your stomach acid weakens and your ability to absorb certain minerals drops dramatically. Without enough magnesium, your body struggles to convert L-arginine into nitric oxide, the very molecule that tells your blood vessels to open. Without zinc, your hormone levels decline, which impacts everything from mood to performance to vascular flexibility. You may be swallowing the right pill, but if the supporting nutrients aren't present, that pill is just passing through your system unused. These aren't big, dramatic errors. They're small daily habits that add up. And over time, they convince you that it didn't work when in truth, you never gave your body the right conditions to succeed. But there's a fix. It's not expensive. It's not complicated. And it doesn't require changing your life. All it takes is a clear, simple protocol. You wake up, drink a full glass of water, take 3 grams of L-arginine with 250 milligrams of niacin on an empty stomach. Do 5 minutes of movement like stretching, walking, breathing. Then eat something clean: eggs, a few almonds, maybe a slice of avocado. No bread, no sugar, no packaged food. That's it. Do this every morning. Let it compound, because the truth is, your body still knows how to respond. Your blood still wants to move. Your arteries still want to expand. The reason it hasn't happened yet isn't failure, it's miscommunication. Stop feeding your body confusion. Give it clarity. Give it consistency. And watch what happens when you finally stop making the same mistakes that were silently holding you back all along. After just a few days of consistency, something changes. Not dramatically. It's quiet, almost easy to miss. But it's there. You step out of bed and your legs feel lighter. That tight pressure in your calves that used to greet you every morning isn't as sharp. The cold sensation in your toes no longer creeps up your legs like it used to. You don't have to grab onto the nightstand to stabilize yourself anymore. And you pause for a second, wondering if it's just coincidence. Maybe you slept better. Maybe the weather's warmer. But deep down, your body knows blood is moving again. As the days go by, the signs become harder to ignore. You get up from your chair without grunting. You climb stairs without stopping halfway. You feel steadier on your feet and your breathing slows down, not because you're tired, but because your body is more efficient. And then something unexpected happens. You catch yourself smiling in the mirror, not because of what you see, but because of what you feel. There's a quiet certainty returning, a signal that your body hasn't stopped working. It's been waiting for the right signal all along. By the end of the second week, you begin to feel energy in ways you hadn't noticed were gone. The mental fog that used to cloud your thoughts in the morning, it starts to lift. You remember names quicker. You follow conversations more easily. You don't feel the need to sit down as much. And there's a warmth coming back, not just in your hands or feet, but in places you were afraid had gone cold forever. It doesn't rush back. It doesn't shout. It returns slowly, quietly, like a room being filled with light at sunrise. The science behind this isn't a mystery. With consistent intake of L-arginine and niacin, your blood vessels begin to soften. Nitric oxide production increases. Capillaries that were once stiff begin to open. Oxygen flows more freely, and with it comes clarity, mobility, and strength. Every cell in your body depends on this flow, not just for movement, but for healing. And after years of slow decline, the return of circulation feels like resurrection. You notice your balance improve. Your sleep deepens. You wake up with less stiffness. And maybe for the first time in years, you start your day without that quiet. Dread that feeling that your best days are behind you. Because now, every day feels like a step forward. You begin walking longer. You feel more present with your family. And at night, when the house is quiet and your body is calm, you notice something you haven't felt in a long time: confidence. Real, internal, unshakable confidence. And then, without warning, it happens. A moment where you respond quicker, feel stronger, stand taller. It's not dramatic. It's not something you announce. But you know. Your body knows. The flow has returned. Not just blood, but life. And in that moment, you realize age didn't steal this from you. It was waiting for you to take control of your mornings, waiting for you to stop surviving and start circulating again. Tomorrow morning may look like any other. The sun will rise. The house will be quiet. You'll reach for your glass of water, maybe stretch a little, and consider the same routine you've followed for years. But this time, something will be different. Not because your age has changed overnight, but because you've decided to stop following a routine that keeps you in decline and start one that brings you back to life. It starts with a decision. Before breakfast, before television, before anything else, you reach for a small capsule. Not a drug, not a quick fix, but a biological message. A signal to your arteries: wake up, move again, carry oxygen, restore strength. This act, though simple, sets a rhythm, and that rhythm rewires everything. The L-arginine begins to open your vessels, nice and warms your chest and ears slightly, a gentle reminder that blood is moving. The feeling isn't explosive, it's steady, controlled, safe, like an old engine being tuned to run again after years of silence. You move your body slowly, perhaps just a walk to the kitchen and back, and that blood begins to carry the oxygen to places it's been missing. Your muscles feel more responsive, your steps feel more natural, and your confidence, it begins to rebuild itself, not through fantasy, but through biology. And with each day you repeat this routine, your body listens more carefully. Your circulation becomes more efficient. Your mornings feel clearer. Your limbs respond with less hesitation. That subtle pain behind the knee that used to bother you when getting up from the couch, it fades. That feeling of heaviness after lunch, less noticeable. That embarrassing slowness when intimacy was required, it begins to reverse. This isn't about chasing youth. It's about honoring the life you still have left. Because the truth is, you're not done. You're not finished building memories with your spouse, playing with your grandchildren, or walking to your favorite CAF without having to sit down and catch your breath. And all of that, every single moment, is tied to how your blood moves. You've seen what happens when circulation is ignored, the slow fog, the creeping numbness, the daily shrinking of your world. But now, you know what happens when it's restored. A man becomes sharper, quieter in his strength, more connected to his body, to his purpose, more present in his relationships, not driven by panic, but anchored by flow. And the most powerful part? You're in control. No one is coming to do it for you. No pill from a stranger will replace the discipline of waking up each morning and giving your body what it's been begging for. Tomorrow morning, you don't just take a vitamin. You reclaim your vitality, one breath, one heartbeat, one morning at a time, because the road back to strength isn't paved with motivation. It's paved with flow. And once you feel that flow again, you'll never want to go back. Now take a moment, not to think but to feel. Feel your breath. Feel the quiet hum of life moving beneath your skin. That's your circulation, not just blood, but warmth, oxygen, memory, energy, life. For years, perhaps even decades, that rhythm slowed. Not because you failed, not because you aged, but because the world never told you how to protect it. They told you aging was inevitable. That slowing down was natural. That aches, numbness, and silence in certain parts of your body were something to accept with grace. But they never told you that you could fight back, not with violence, but with wisdom. Not with fear, but with intention. Not by chasing youth, but by respecting your biology and giving it what it needs. Consistently, quietly, like watering a tree you once thought was dry, and now your body is listening. Every vessel, every nerve, every breath. It knows what to do. It always did. It just needed the right signal. The signal you now send each morning with a single habit, a single moment of discipline, a simple reminder that you're still here and you still matter. So close your eyes for just a second and imagine the life you want to keep living. Waking up with strength, walking without fear, holding your loved one's hand without trembling, laughing without pain, thinking clearly, feeling deeply, and ending each day with the peace of knowing that you showed up not just for others, but for yourself. You don't need perfect health to have dignity. You don't need to run a marathon to feel strong. You simply need circulation, the steady river that touches every organ, every cell, every emotion. And when that river flows, life flows, spirit flows, clarity returns. So tomorrow, when you open your eyes and feel the morning light, remember, the most powerful decision you'll make today happens in the first 5 minutes. Don't let them slip away. Drink the water, take the capsule, breathe deep, and step forward, not fast, not loud, but steady. That's how you take back control. And if this message reached you, if you felt something stir inside you, share it. Because sometimes what saves a life isn't a miracle or a medicine. Sometimes it's just a quiet warning, passed from one person to another. In time,